Hello everybody, here we are. I am Mehdi from Mehdi Android. Today we'll talk about iPhones. So, why are iPhones so much more expensive than other high-end smartphones? iPhones are expensive relative to many Android phones for a couple reasons. First, Apple designs and engineers not only the hardware of each phone, but the software. 2. Apple crafts and controls the entire user experience. Historically, competitors like Samsung have built the handset and use Google's Android operation system to run them carefully. Integrating software and hardware is more resource intensive and thus naturally raises the price of the phone. Apple also continues to position the iPhone as a higher end product, which while keeping it from being a major player in some major developing markets like India, allow the company to reap much higher profit margins in each phone than its competitors. The gambit had worked thus far. The iPhone is the most profitable product in modern history. Have another point thought when you consider everything that goes into the iPhone and the fact that there are dozens of metals that must be sourced from every corner of the globe, manufactured at a scale by hand, each at sometimes rather high human costs, and that there are a score of highly complex components parts like gyroscope, accelerometer, multi-touch sensor, Gorilla Glass, and incredibly compact and powerful series process. The iPhone is another sense rather expensive. It can do more than many 5-year-old computers can for a fraction of the price. I know it never seems like that when you are wandering into an Apple store, but it's relative. It's rather incredible to take a step back and consider what the device we take for granted that we carry around every day are capable of and consider the true cost of getting them into our pockets. There was once a time when an iPhone was arguably much better than flagship Android device, largely because Android as an operating system was still very new and just getting its bearing times have essentially changed, and now there are more than a few Android phones that are arguably better than the new iPhones and outclassing the iPhone in a myriad of different ways: camera, battery, and customization, etc. The average iPhone still costs an arm and a leg more than the equivalent Android phone, so why is Apple still able to command such an extravagant price for its phones? Comparing Apple. Before we move further, let's compare phone price with Android flagship. The 4.6-inch iPhone 8 starts at $655 and the larger iPhone 8 Plus starts with 755 64 GB iPhone. Still, iPhone is more costly because and Apple can get away by charging whatever price they want, even though there are multiple Android phones that cost less and have better hardware and features than the iPhone. I will explain why and why I think iPhone price is justified. First, just works. If I had the money, I would buy a phone for every time I have heard this statement for an Apple. Loyalists also I have heard this statement from many people who want an iPhone and their dream is to own an iPhone. I have enough money to buy 64 GB iPhone 8 Plus with an extended Apple Care warranty every year for the rest of my life. It's no secret that Apple's walled garden ecosystem allows is to find time its software and hardware almost perfectly, resulting in a very stable and fluid user experience. While Android has become increasingly smooth and stable in recent years, Apple still has a reputation for being easier to use and more reliable than Android. 4. All freedoms and customization that Android allows. Still, there is a huge population of smartphone users that could not care less about custom launchers, root apps, theme engines, custom ROMs, and side-loading APK. Android has always been the enthusiast OS, while Apple has been the platform for those that don't want to think about the platform. The only time most Android fans tend to hear why iOS is from Apple owners is when they get an instant update or when there is some big Android security scandal going on. This is definitely not the case with iPhone, as the recent battle between Apple and the FBI shows that Apple believes privacy and security are fundamental to the Apple brand. Apple is increasing the depth of the corporation. Android is behind on this. We have become so lax about our security. As we desperately click I agree on things, we really should not agree to that. We just app for the best if we think about it all. Perhaps we still don't care enough, but with ever more personal information on our phones than ever, Apple is showing that security matters. iPhones and the iOS are known to build like tanks when it comes to security and encryption. The memory on the smartphone is encrypted so no one can hack into the hardware to go through the confidential information. Your fingerprint data as well as the new Face ID data on the Phone X will be sorted on the iPhone and not on a cloud server, keeping your data with you always. Is an experience that just works really enough to justify charging such a premium price tag for an iPhone. Yes, as security matters to me a lot of us nowadays, we store so much personal data on our phone, such credit card information, debit card information. Security matters to me a lot. 2. The cult of Apple. There is no denying that Steve Jobs understood the potential of cool. In many ways, the iPhone's success is largely based on it being the cool phone, instantly recognizable, used by celebrities, and with an extraordinary marketing budget. The iPhone has become the phone people wanted to be seen with. It was and largely remains the one gadget that everyone knows, even those not inclined to care about change. The phone is not just a product, it's a community, a lifestyle, a belief structure, researches, and information. Many surveyed when people were asked about their opinions about LG G6 and Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus Edge. Many of these people were iPhone users, and a number of them said they found it really impressive but would never own an Android. I'm also a iPhone user and really I also find LG G6 impression about, but I would never switch to Android from phone. The influence of peer pressure, apparently psychology and clever marketing, has helped keep the iPhone at the top of its game. The influence of peer pressure, especially psychology and clever marketing, has helped keep the iPhone at the top of its game for a long time, even if iPhone has been accused of failing to innovate for years. Likewise, despite its high price, which works in its favor as the phone to own when you have made it. The iPhone is not the most expensive phone of all, but it is the most expensive of phone in its class. Android fans love to throw around the Apple cult tag and call iPhone owners a sheep and so on, but the blind adherence to Android is simply another side of the exact same as. Many people are self-professed Android fanboys with all the vehement passion as their iOS brethren, so what makes them pay less likely to want to spend $1,000 on a phone than Apple phones? Number 3. Price fixing. Another part of the equation is Apple's control over the pricing of this device. They tend to remain at fixed price throughout their lifetime and are rarely discounted. When an iPhone is discounted at Apple, it will see a similar price drop at all retailers. Apple doesn't offer significant wholesale discount, so there is less potential for retail to undercut Apple itself. This is largely because Apple doesn't offer significant wholesale discount, so there is less potential for retailers to undercut the RRP on Apple's own site. All this just adds to the sense of Apple products being exclusive and worth Apple charges of them. Number 3. The faith. Success of any brand depends upon how loyal its customers are towards it. Another big factor in all of this that Apple charges as much as it does because it can. In Samsung's recent shake-up, it flattened the price of the Samsung Galaxy series, and many thought it would be game over. Not so with the Galaxy S7 and S8, selling very well despite their iPhone X pricing not disconnected. The fact that Samsung sales figures have repeatedly failed to meet market's expectation, and Samsung is still in the midst of declining smartphone sales generally. If other smartphone marks could get away with charging at $1,000 for a phone and feel confident that it would be bought regardless, then they would absolutely mirror Apple's pricing. Apple can do this for many of the reasons outlined above. As Tim Cook has said, Apple doesn't want to sacrifice quality for price. If you drink the Kool-Aid, Apple would prefer not to realize a product at all than realize anything less than magic, and all the magic costs money. The reason number 4, the cost of research and development and manufacturing. Although phone components are becoming cheaper day by day, Apple tries to keep the technology inside the iPhone best and the lots. Apple puts in billions of dollars now. You may already know that Apple spends a lot of money in research and development also. Apple built its iPhone with the premium materials which cost more. That's why iPhone lasts longer compared to Android. Number 5. Works great with all your devices. I own an iPhone, iPad, as well as Mac. Trust me, it's best feature in iPhone. I can quickly sync photo in my all device answers a phone call on iPad or Mac, send text message from my other device. There is also one feature now as handoff. Suppose I'm writing a mail on my Mac, and suppose I got an urgent call and I have to leave house. I can start writing same mail on my iPhone from where I left on my Mac. Our connectivity between this device is smooth, in which Android doesn't even much. Number 6. Sharing a file from your iPhone to your Mac or iPad or other iPhone users is also easier and faster thanks to AirDrop features. This is a built-in service that sends file wirelessly directly to Mac or iPad even when there is no other Wi-Fi around. iPhone interact with MacBook and simplest tasks I perform multiple times every day. Number 7. iPhone warranty and best customer support. Apple offer iPhone warranty for 12 months and telephonic support up to 9 months. Trust me, no company can match the best customer support service given by Apple. If your phone gets some problem, Apple replaces your iPhone at no additional cost. Samsung or cannot much service provided by Apple. I remember once my Samsung phone got some problem. Samsung returns my phone after 21 days. Number 8. Worth more when you resell. The iPhone belt holds its value better than an Android phone. If you sell your 1-year-old or 2-year-old Android flagship device, you will often get much less than you paid when you sell an older iPhone. It's easy to update offer almost doubt the value of an Android phone that come out at the same time with better build quality software.